So, Pluto, right? It's this cool, mysterious thing way out past Neptune, in the Kuiper belt. Used to be a planet, but they changed it to a dwarf planet back in '06. From the start, Pluto seemed a bit weird. Its path around the Sun crosses other planets' paths. Planets don't normally do that. Even so, it's still super interesting. When we're looking for life beyond Earth, Pluto's a sort of interesting maybe. People used to think it was too cold and dead, but some stuff we've found on its surface and under the ice is surprising. The New Horizons spacecraft and the James Webb Space Telescope took some amazing pictures. They're changing how we see Pluto. It's way more than just a boring dwarf planet. Scientists are really interested because it's not what they expected. What did the James Webb Telescope see? As we try to figure out Pluto, one question is how big is it compared to Earth? Is it really tiny, like 1/100th or even 1/1,000,000th the size? It makes you wonder about its real size in space. There's this idea that Pluto might have an ocean under all that ice. The ground has big cracks, and not many big holes from asteroids, in some spots. That means the ground must have been active more recently than we thought. People started talking about this back in 2006, thinking maybe there could be oceans way out past the gas planets, maybe even on Pluto. Then, in 2015, NASA's New Horizons mission got there. It sent back the first close-up pictures of Pluto, and wow! The surface has cracks, ice volcanoes, and this huge heart-shaped area. Some scientists now think even wilder stuff could be hiding under the surface. For example, the pictures showed this icy area called Plum that's almost opposite Pluto's biggest moon, Charon. That's probably not just an accident. Some models suggest that this could happen because of Pluto itself. When Pluto's air, mostly nitrogen, got cold and froze, it filled up that basin. The weight of all that ice made Pluto tilt over to where it is now. The idea of an ocean under the ice has stuck around over the years, and pictures of Pluto's far side back this up. There's this area called chaotic terrain. It looks like a bunch of broken blocks all jumbled together. It's on the opposite side of Pluto from that big, smooth basin, Sputnik Planum. We've seen stuff like this on other planets and moons, like Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter's moon Europa. Usually, it's from asteroids or comets hitting the planet and sending shockwaves around to the other side. Neil deGrasse Tyson has some thoughts about all this. Alden Denton, who studies planets at Purdue, did a computer model to see if an asteroid could send shockwaves through Pluto. It worked, but only if Pluto had a liquid ocean underneath. Oliver White, a planet scientist, also studied Pluto's ground. He didn't work on that earlier study, but he says while the stuff on Pluto's far side looks like what we see on other planets, the pictures aren't clear enough to be sure. Still, most scientists agree that Pluto has strange stuff going on, like lots of cracks on the far side, which could mean there's a hidden ocean. Theories about Pluto's ocean say it used to be liquid but froze as the planet cooled. The heat came from stuff in the rocky core breaking down. As the ice melted, it would have made the surface wrinkle, like an old apple. Then, when it froze again, it would crack. But the New Horizons data mostly shows cracks, not wrinkles, so maybe the ocean was liquid for a longer time than we thought. New Horizons also saw a giant crack running from Pluto's North Pole to the South Pole. It's called the Pluto Rift, and it probably means the frozen ocean is still expanding. So, there's water on Pluto. We've seen water molecules on the side that faces us, and they seem to have stuff like RNA and DNA in them. It might sound weird, but radiation from the sun and space can make complex stuff, including the building blocks of life. This makes scientists think Pluto could have organic molecules and maybe even some kind of life. Plus, the probe saw a reddish band around Pluto's middle. It could be organic material, and it's in a spot that gets more sun and is a little warmer. That's important because you need liquid water and organic molecules for life. Of course, some people who believe in UFOs think there are buildings on Pluto. They see weird things in the pictures and think it's not natural. NASA says it is natural stuff. Even with all these cool finds, we have to be careful. An ocean and organic materials are interesting, but Pluto is still a really tough place to live. It's freezing cold, like -375 degrees Fahrenheit, -225 degrees Celsius. Water can't stay liquid at those temperatures. But maybe there's liquid under the ice, kept warm by the planet's heat or the pull of its moon. That's what makes Pluto so interesting. The idea of life beyond Earth is always exciting. With Pluto's weird features, people are starting to wonder if there's more to it than we thought. If there's liquid water and organic molecules under the surface, it might be like other icy moons that could have tiny life forms. Finding a possible ocean and organic stuff on Pluto might change how we think about what life needs to survive. Pluto's place in the solar system is still up for grabs. As we learn more, the idea that this cold, distant world could have organic materials or even an ocean challenges what we thought about where life could exist. It opens up new possibilities for finding life in unexpected places. As our technology gets better and we send more missions like New Horizons, we'll learn even more about Pluto and the chances of life out there. Whether it's an ocean or weird molecules, Pluto will keep scientists busy. Maybe someday, it will show us something that changes everything we know about life in the universe. NASA's playing a big part in all these discoveries. Basically, Pluto went from being a planet to a dwarf planet, but it's still awesome. The stuff we've found, especially the possibility of an ocean, means there's way more to it than we ever imagined. As we keep exploring, Pluto will be important in the search for life. If you liked this, please like, share, and subscribe for more cool space stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll bring you more updates soon. Pluto keeps calling to scientists because there are so many questions about it. It's far from the Sun and has weird features, so it's a good target for future missions. Even though it's a dwarf planet, it seems active and has a strange story. The New Horizons images show unexpected stuff happening on the surface, which makes us rethink how a small, distant object can still be active. One thing that's really interesting is Pluto's internal heat. It might be warm enough inside to keep an ocean liquid or at least allow for things to happen on the surface, even though it's so far from the Sun. The heat could come from stuff breaking down deep inside or from the pull of its moon, Charon. Whatever it is, this heat could be key to having liquid water under the ice and maybe even some kind of life, even if it's very different from life on Earth. If there's an ocean, it makes you wonder if life could exist way out there. The surface of Pluto is freezing, but we've found life in crazy places on Earth, like boiling hot springs or under tons of pressure. So, if Pluto's ocean is liquid and has the right chemicals, maybe there's something living there, even if it's just tiny organisms. Studies of Pluto's surface show that there are active volcanoes, but they don't erupt hot rock. Instead, they erupt water, ammonia, and methane ices. This could be bringing new stuff to the surface and maybe even sending nutrients into the ocean below. It's a wild thought that Pluto, despite being so cold and far away, could be changing all the time. Pluto's atmosphere is also strange. It's thin and mostly made of nitrogen, with a little methane and carbon monoxide. The atmosphere changes with the seasons because Pluto's path around the Sun isn't a perfect circle. This makes the temperature and pressure change, which affects the gases and ices on the surface. The atmosphere and that reddish band around Pluto's middle make it seem like a more complex place than we thought. Pluto's weird path around the Sun and its distance add to the mystery. It interacts with the Kuiper belt, which is full of icy objects and dwarf planets. The Kuiper belt is like a time capsule from the early solar system, and studying Pluto can tell us about those early days. Pluto is the farthest object in the Kuiper belt that we've visited, so it's a key piece in understanding how planets formed way out there. The possibility of an ocean and the stuff we've found on the surface make it more likely that Pluto could have some kind of life. These molecules are the building blocks of life on Earth, so maybe Pluto's surface has the right chemicals for tiny organisms to survive, even without sunlight. If there's liquid water and it can mix with those molecules, then maybe Pluto could support life, even if it's nothing like what we're used to. As we learn more about Pluto, the future of research looks exciting. NASA's still committed to exploring space, and future missions will give us even more insights into Pluto's mysteries. One thing we could study is how Pluto interacts with the Kuiper belt. That region is like a fossil record of the early solar system, and it could tell us how Pluto formed. Looking at Pluto's place in the belt might reveal more about its surface, atmosphere, and what's inside. We also need to keep studying Pluto's history. The volcanoes that erupt ice and the possibility of an ocean mean that Pluto has changed a lot over time. Future missions could study these things in more detail and maybe find evidence of activity deep inside. Analyzing the molecules on the surface could also tell us if they're involved in any kind of life. Better technology will be key to figuring out Pluto's secrets. Space telescopes are getting better all the time, and computers are getting faster. This will let scientists analyze Pluto's atmosphere and surface better than ever. Better images might show us hidden things, like lakes under the surface or pockets of gases that could tell us more about what's going on inside. The ultimate goal is to send more spacecraft to explore Pluto and the Kuiper Belt. Maybe we could even land a probe on Pluto to study the ice and the surface up close. As technology improves and we learn more, Pluto might turn out to be more than just a frozen world. It could be a key to understanding the solar system and the possibility of life in the universe. Exploring Pluto's strange features and its potential for life could open up new areas to research and change how we think about what life needs to survive. It might even make us rethink what a habitable place is and encourage us to look for life in new ways. When we're looking for life beyond Earth, Pluto is interesting, even if it seems like a tough place to live. But lately, we've found some things on and under its icy surface that are pretty surprising. The New Horizons spacecraft and the James Webb Space Telescope took some awesome pictures that are changing what we thought we knew about Pluto. It turns out it's more than just a dwarf planet. Scientists are excited because the stuff we're seeing doesn't match what we used to think. What did the James Webb Telescope find? Well, as we try to figure out Pluto's secrets, we're wondering how big it really is compared to Earth. Is it really tiny, like 1/100th or even 1/1,000,000th the size of Earth? This makes us rethink how big and important Pluto is in space. There's also this idea that there might be an ocean under Pluto's icy surface. Scientists have seen cracks and not many big craters in some spots, which suggests that the ground has been moving more recently than we thought. People started talking about oceans on Pluto and other far-off places back in 2006. Then, in 2015, NASA's New Horizons mission got there and sent back amazing pictures and info. It was the first time we saw Pluto up close, and it has a surface with cracks, ice volcanoes, and a huge heart-shaped area. Because of this, some scientists think there might be even crazier stuff hiding under Pluto's surface. For example, when they looked at the pictures from New Horizons, they saw this icy area called Plum that's almost straight across from Pluto's biggest moon, Charon. It could just be a coincidence, but it's not likely. Only a few models, like 5%, show something like that happening without some kind of interaction between Pluto's surface and an underground ocean. When Pluto's air, full of nitrogen, got cold and turned solid, the nitrogen piled up in that area. That weight made Pluto shift into the position it's in today. This idea about an underground ocean has been around for a while, and pictures of Pluto's far side make it seem more likely. There's strong proof of an ocean in a spot called chaotic terrain, which is all jagged cracks and messy plains. It's on the opposite side of Pluto from that big, smooth area called Sputnik Planum. Scientists have spotted similar stuff on other places like Mars, Mercury, and Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. On those planets and moons, they think asteroid or comet crashes made shock waves that met on the far side, causing the messed up land like what's on Pluto. Neil deGrasse Tyson's thoughts? Alden Denton, who's studying planetary geology at Purdue University, did a simulation of how an asteroid hit could send shock waves through Pluto. The results made sense and showed that a crash like that could only happen if Pluto had a liquid ocean underneath. Oliver White, who studies planets at the SETI Institute in California, also looked at Pluto's ground. He wasn't part of the earlier study, but even though the pictures aren't super clear, he thinks there are unique features on Pluto, including lots of cracks on the far side. This makes him think there might be an ocean hiding down there. Theories about Pluto's ocean have said for a long time that it used to be liquid but froze because of heat from radioactive stuff in a rocky core. If that happened, the ice would have melted and made the surface wrinkle, like when you leave an apple in the fridge too long. Those wrinkles would be from the ice shrinking as it melted and then expanding as it froze again, making cracks in the surface. If that's true, the New Horizons pictures should show both old wrinkles and new cracks. But the data mostly shows cracks, which suggests that Pluto's oceans might have been liquid at first and then slowly frozen. New Horizons also saw a huge split running across Pluto's near side, from the North Pole to the South Pole. It's called the Pluto Rift and doesn't seem like the surface changed suddenly. Instead, it looks like a frozen ocean is still expanding. The hidden secrets of Pluto revealed. We also know that there's water on Pluto because we've seen water molecules on the near side. They even seem to have organic molecules in them. It might sound weird to have water on Pluto, but experiments show that sunlight and cosmic radiation can make complex organic compounds, some of the same ones that are in RNA and DNA. This makes it more likely that Pluto could have organic molecules and maybe even support life. Also, the probe found a reddish band near Pluto's equator. It's probably made of organic stuff and is in a spot that gets more sun and is warmer. This is a big deal because it means there's liquid water and organic molecules, which are two things you need for life. On the other hand, some people who believe in UFOs think that there might be artificial structures on Pluto. They point to weird things in the pictures, like a smoky trail on the surface. NASA says it's just natural stuff, but some people think it could be aliens on Pluto. Even though these discoveries are exciting and there could be mysteries hiding on Pluto, we need to be careful about what we think. The evidence for an underground ocean and organic materials is cool, but most of Pluto is still really cold and not a good place for life as we know it. The temperature on the surface is super cold, around -375 degrees Fahrenheit -225 degrees Celsius. That's way too cold for water to be liquid. But the possibility that there's some kind of liquid under the ice, kept warm by heat from radioactive decay or the gravity of its moon, makes Pluto's geology even more interesting.